What's going on, boats? It's your boy Top Dog Rowley or RowleyDog. So in today's video I'm bringing you a guide on every single faction in Sea of Thieves. Just before we start, you do need to be level 15 in each faction to purchase the emissary flag. Otherwise some of the tips in this guide don't really work. But other than that, let's get straight into it. So first up today I'm going to be doing Gold Hoarders, but this stands for all factions, not just Gold Hoarders. I recommend grabbing at least merchant supplies, but if you are a captain, definitely grab captaincy supplies, as some of these methods can be quite PvE orientated. I mean, like skelly ships and phantom ships. So yeah, just buy supplies. So for this method, what I like to do is I like to do a raid on a skeleton fleet, as it is relatively easy if you are solo slooping. Bear in mind, all these methods can be done solo. Some of them you may see me on a galleon or a brig, but they can all be done solo. I've done it all solo. This is primarily how I play the game, is solo. So just simply, all you need to do is battle with a skeleton fleet. Once you rise out of the ocean, you simply want to raise your sail. I'd say about 2/3 of the way up if you are on a sloop. I mean, if you are a competent crew, this should be no issue at all, a confident duo. But if you're a new player, just raise your sail to half, and I like to use fire bombs. It keeps them off cannon, and then you can just absolutely belt them with cannonballs until they sink. It is so easy to do this, and it gets a little bit more complicated with a galleon, but it's still relatively same principle. Use fire, try and stay a little bit away, but it's just so simple to just do a skeleton fleet. People think it's really intimidating. It's really easy. If you were doing this method solo slooping, you will only have to sink 2 skeleton sloops and 1 skeleton galleon. So when the ship has sunk, you can simply sail over there, raise your sails, harpoon the loot, and then as soon as you have harpooned all the treasure, the next wave will begin. So like I said, 2 waves of 1 skeleton sloop and then 1 wave of a skeleton galleon, and that is the raid completed. Fun fact for those that don't know, a skeleton ship has a marked insignia of what cursed cannonballs it shoots, so if you want to farm some cursed cannonballs, this is the way to do so. Just check if it's got the right insignia for the cursed cannonball you want. After you've completed the skeleton fleet, you will be roughly grade 3.5 if not 4. So simply all you want to do now is either 1. Search around the islands for captains, pieces of gold, ores of treasure, mermaid gems, or option 2, which is what I prefer, go to sea forts, complete the sea forts, and that is pretty much a guaranteed grade 5. After you've got grade 5, go to any outpost and sell your loot, but do not claim the emissary quest yet, as you want to go to Mora's Peak outpost to claim the Ashen variant of it. A very good way to get to Mora's Peak outpost is using the Shores of Gold tall tale and dive into location. If not, just dive to any quest for any faction to the Devil's Roar. You will eventually get to Mora's Peak outpost. You can't be a million miles away, to be truly honest. At Mora's Peak outpost, you want to go speak to the Gold Hoarder and claim the emissary quest. This will be 2 big islands and 2 small islands. The 2 large islands will have 3 X-Maxer spots, and the 2 small islands will have 2 each. Recently the Devil's Roar has had a huge overhaul. Well, not a huge overhaul, but basically the volcanoes have been nerfed severely, so they have a longer delayed period before actually erupting. They don't erupt for as long, and they do not target ships as often. So all in all, it is a really good feature, and it is making this video a lot easier for new players out there. So yeah, get your asses over to the Devil's Roar. So simply all you need to do is just go to all these islands and dig up each chest. These chests will be Admiral and Baron chests in the Ashen variant. That is why we're in the Devil's Roar, because Ashen variants is pretty much double reputation and double gold. So these aren't as good as King's treasure, as you can only find King's treasure at shipwrecks and through skeleton orders through killing the skeleton captain, but this is the second best thing that is guaranteed to get. So I did also forget to mention, always check shipwrecks, if they are like one of the best ways to get loot in the game at the moment. Another fun fact or tip, whatever you want to call it, if you see these little ash embers, that means you are in range of a volcano, and you or your ship is primed for targeting off the volcano. So if you can see them, you're in the danger zone basically. After you've got all the Ashen, Baron and Admiral chests, simply just go and sell them at Sovereigns or Gold Hoarders. It doesn't really matter, and just rinse and repeat this method. This is the best way to level up Gold Hoarders by far. Next up is Order of Souls. Just like Gold Hoarders, you have to raise up the emissary flag and get some supplies. For this we are doing the Burning Blade Armada. The only reason we're doing the Burning Blade Armada for Order of Souls is because you get this nice little beautiful Skull of the Damned. I've done this so many times. I'm really good at it. I literally have a video dedicated on how to do this 50 times to get the I can't remember what the cells are called off the top of my head, but yeah, so I really am well traversed on how to do this. I do have a video on a more in-depth guide, but I'm going to briefly cover the best method to do this. Just like the skeleton fleet, when you rise from the waves, raise your sails to 2/3 of the way up. So how Burning Blade Armada works is you have 2 waves of grunt ships. After each wave it will be a boss wave. So each grunt ship takes 3 cannonballs, 3 blunder bombs, 3 fire bombs. I don't know how it really works with scatter shots, to be truly honest, but they work either way. So all you need to do is take out a handful, in between 6 to 8, to progress to the next wave. So it's really simple. Just defeat, destroy 6 to 8 ghost grunt ships and you'll be on to the captain's wave. After you have completed the first wave, all the ghost ships will disappear into a mysterious portal of sorts or whatever, and then 2 Ashen Dragon bosses will spawn. Each boss takes 10 cannonballs each and they are surrounded by 2 ghost grunt ships. So they are not important, you do not need to destroy them, you simply just need to destroy the Ashen Dragon. And what I like to do is literally sail in front of them, facing 90 degrees away from them, and then just unload a full magazine of cannonballs and they are simply just destroyed. It is the easiest way to complete this world event. Sometimes it doesn't always go perfect, so just literally steer your boat, and when they go through your boat, which is really weird in this world event, that's what they do create quite a few holes, so it is quite a risky tactic, but it works the best out of any other way. After defeating both Ashen Dragons and grabbing all the loot, you can now begin the 3rd wave. But one nice little thing about this quest is it gives you storage crates, not just from defeating the bosses, but also from defeating the ghost grunt ships, which is really nice, and you can sell them to merchants, so it's not too bad to run if you are a merchant, but it's not the best. After completing the 3rd wave, the final boss wave will begin. This is where 2 Ashen Dragons will spawn and the Burning Blade. The Burning Blade is surrounded by 4 ghost grunt ships and takes a total of 24 cannonballs to defeat. So it is quite a big target, but what I recommend doing first is taking out the 2 Ashen Dragons, as this maximises loot and profit from the world event. What I recommend to do is the exact same as the Ashen Dragon. Pull up in front of it 90 degrees and just start belting it with cannonballs. It more than likely will sail straight through your boat, but you can just keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it with cannonballs. Eventually it will explode, it will die, and you will have all the loot. After harpooning all the loot onto your ship, you will be pretty much near enough grade 5. You won't exactly hit grade 5, but you will be near enough where all you have to do is go kill a skeleton lord and you will be grade 5. As you can tell, that is what we're going to go do. Just simply vote on a bounty for a skeleton lord and it will be a relatively close large island to where you're at. As if for me it was Plunder Valley, which was literally the next island over. For this quest, I highly recommend bringing a throwing knife, as this is the most effective against any skeleton lord and ashen lords. It is simply the best offensive weapon for PvE in the game at the moment. Just like original skeleton bounty maps, you have to fight a few waves of skeleton, then the skeleton lord will spawn. And with the season 16, you have the introduction of these skeletons you can dig up out the ground, and they will fight for you if you revive them. They will also carry loot upon request to wherever you need to go. So this has become a whole lot easier in the recent updates. Again, with the Devil's Raw nerf and these skeletons, it is becoming easier and easier to level up the factions. After a battle with a skeleton lord, you will most definitely be grade 5, so what you want to do now is go and sell your loot at Sovereigns or Order of Souls. It doesn't matter, it doesn't affect the loot, like I said with Gold Hoarders. And then you simply want to go over to Devil's Raw and claim the Emissary quest. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Because it's going to be the same with Merchant. So the Order of Souls Emissary quest is very similar to the Gold Hoarders, where it's 2 large islands, 2 small islands, The 2 large islands have 3, the 2 small islands have 2. So basically what I like to do as well is pop an Ashen Skeleton Lord quest down as well, as there's a chance that it coincides with the islands that are on the emissary quest. I'm not going to tell you how to do it as the Ashen variant, because you know how to hunt skeletons, it's easy. But one good thing about the Devil's Roar is the geysers can one-shot skeleton captains, and this makes things a whole lot easier, and they also damage the skeleton lords. So this is the best way to level up Order of Souls by far. So yeah, let's move on to Merchant. So first of all, for Merchant, what I like to do is I like to raise the Merchant Emissary, obviously, and then buy the Merchant crates. So what I mean is the Storage Crate, Fruit Crate, Wood Crate and Cannonball Crate, as that increases reputation just a little bit, and a little bit is a lot when it comes to the Emissary grade. So for this method, it is the Ashen Executive Lost Shipment Voyage. Obviously you dive to location, and I swear by this voyage, this is by far my favourite voyage in the entire game. It is an instant grade 5 if you are playing as Merchant. Obviously you will get instant grade 5 Merchant, and this quest will also take you to the Devil's Roar, which is where we need to be. So this voyage is pretty simple. All you need to do is follow the map you are given in your quest radar. It will be a guide to follow of where the clues will be, and simply look for birds in the sky and sail over to that location, and there will be a clue on where to go next. And there will also be a little bit of loot and some treasure, and also you may potentially find the key to get into the captain's cabin of the vessel you find. As you can see here, it basically says I need to head to Crow's Nest Fortress, because that's what it says in the ship's log. When I got to Crow's Nest Fortress, I found a blue shimmering clue in a bottle. Then I went up the shoreline a little bit, and then I found 2 pieces of treasure and the key to the captain's cabin. So once you've found the key, you don't necessarily have to follow the clues. You can go near the end point and look for birds in the sky, which is what I primarily do every time. But if you want to look for clues, get a little bit more loot, you can do, but I don't really think it's. When you are down below at the shipwreck, make sure you recover the manifest. It can be found anywhere on the ship from the 2nd floor up to the helm, and make sure you take the key down to unlock the captain's cabin. There is no real point exploring the ship for other loot, as the majority of it is in the captain's quarters, unless you need to get the manifest like I said earlier. But basically, get all the loot on your ship, you will get to grade 5, and then head over to Morrow's Peak Outpost and grab your Ashen Emissary quest. After you've sold all your loot and grabbed the emissary quest, you just basically need to sail over to whichever island it sends you to. It'll either be Roaring Traders, Brian's Bazaar, or Fetcher's Rest, or I can't remember the other one, to be truly honest. But basically you just need to sail over there, grab the cargo and transport it to wherever it says. There's not a lot of tips I can give for this one, apart from don't jump with rum bottles, keep your plants wet and your cloths dry. And yeah, that is basically it for Merchant. Complete this voyage and then rinse and repeat. Next is Hunter's Call. So next up for Hunter's Call, you obviously want to raise up the emissary flag, but before you leave the outpost you want to purchase all the bait and all the spears off the Hunter's Call representative and buy it off the merchant as well. So once you have bought all your supplies, food from the shipwright is especially important. You want to vote to dive to raid a sea fort under the Hunter's Call. So I'm doing this with multiple people, but if I did it on my own, I would still be able to get grade 5 just from the sea fort alone. But other people, they can do the sea fort whilst I cook the food. Now each bit of food you cook, it gives you a little bit of emissary reputation. Along with the loot from the fort, you can easily get grade 5 for this. Now once you are grade 5, we are just going to hunt megalodons, and that is it. Simply hunt the ancient megalodons, and they pay the best. So once you hit grade 5, if you look on your map table, you will either see an orange logo, which will be the feared Redmaw, or you will see a bluish yellow turquoisey colour, that will be the Barnacled Dread. Each megalodon has different and unique abilities. The feared Redmaw can explode, causing damage to your ship's mast, hull and cause fire, whereas the Barnacled Dread has a lot of armour and can summon ocean crawlers on your boat. Each megalodon has loot corresponding to which one you've killed, whether it was the Barnacled Dread or the feared Redmaw. And after killing each one, I would recommend to sell each time. You don't really need to stack them. I'd kill the Barnacled Dread, sell, kill the feared Redmaw, and just rinse and repeat that. It's quite worthwhile doing it. It's probably the most fun emissary to rank up at the moment, so that's what I'd do if I were you guys. And yeah, moving on to Reapers. Okay, so now we're on to Reapers, but really quick before we get there, I'm on day 2 of editing this video. I've never done a project this big. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of work, just sat here pressing buttons, cutting and pasting stuff, but it is quite a lot of effort, and I've never ever asked you guys for a like before, so please leave a like. I'm not asking you to subscribe, even leave a dislike if you want, just leave a rating and let me know how this video helps you. Anyway, let's get on to Reapers. So like every other previous emissary, raise up the Reapers flag, but one thing about the Reapers flag is you can go to Reapers hideout and buy the flag at level 0. It has a no level requirement whatsoever, so it makes it a lot easier, and this is probably the most rewarding emissary out of them all. And also, just like merchant, purchase the supplies. It gives you that little bit of emissary rep, and a little bit goes a long way, as I keep saying. So there is multiple ways to play Reapers, but there's one definitive way to get to grade 5 now, and that is go to small islands and kill a skeleton captain. It is by far the best way to make grade 5. I wish it worked well with Sovereign, but it doesn't, unfortunately. It's just Reapers this works with. So literally all you need to do is find a small island, or a large island works, but it's easier on small ones. Kill a skeleton captain, dig up the treasure. Regardless if you take the loot or not, you will get a high grade emissary. Also, like I mentioned earlier, shipwrecks are also a really good source of loot, and if you go to a shipwreck and kill a skeleton captain, you are pretty much guaranteed to hit grade 5 in Reapers. Once you hit grade 5 in Reapers, it's up to you whether or not you want to sell your loot. I'd recommend selling it if you want to dive to, say, a new server and try and find some emissaries you want to take out, or you want to stay in the server and just complete world events. That's what I'd recommend to do, but there is various ways you can play Reaper. If you want to go out on PvP, that's completely fine, get some emissary flags, or if you want to do what I would recommend doing and doing world events, you might get a bit of hassle, but then you need to learn PvP. And also, talking about flags, we get to mention one of my favourite parts of this game. So in Season 8 in Sea of Thieves, they added my favourite feature known to man, Hourglass. And so basically this is the best way to level up Reapers, as well as Servants of the Flame. I'm going to umbrella Servants of Flame under Reapers. As you can see on screen now, look how much Reapers rep I get from one fight in an Hourglass battle. Hence why my Athena level is so high, because I pretty much just play Guardians of Fortune all the time. But I do also play Reapers, as you can sell every single flag to Reapers, not just the 2 Hourglass factions. So the reason why this is also one of the best is because of the flags. The flags just simply make Hourglass the best reputation there is. This also does give Athena rep if you are playing for Guardians of Fortune. I will talk more on them a little bit when I cover Athena in just a moment. But I do also have a very refined Reaper guide for new players who want to avoid PvP, they want to avoid the world event. Link for that in the description as well. There's going to be a link to a lot of more refined guides. This is just an overall guide for every single faction, and it does work. I've done it. I primarily do these because I'm not a new player, obviously. So when it comes to Athena, there is basically one only way to get to grade 5 every time guaranteed, is doing a Legend of the Veil. I have covered Legend of the Veil like a million times on this channel, so I'm not going to cover everything with exact detail, but there is 5 different chapters, random chapters you can get for 1 and 2. So this includes the Haunted Islands, the Lying maps, the Pictorial maps, the Shipwreck Graveyards, and the Zoom maps. And by the way, thank you to Sea of Thieves at wiki.gg for this. Without this, I would have no idea how to like explain it all to you, so it does it really easily. So first of all is the Haunted Islands, as you can see with the background gameplay. So you basically have to find Belle on any large island, it tells you. Speak to Belle, get a lantern off her, and then light a load of random braziers around the island. And then you will have to fight alongside the Ancients to kill all the Reaper Phantoms, and then kill the Soul Flame Captain, and then he will drop the Veil Stone to put into your Legend of the Veil. So how the Lying maps work is basically it will show a depiction of an island. It could be, for example, this is Sharkbait Cove, and it will have loads of animals like sketched out on it. Basically you need to go to that animal on said island, and there'll be an ancient drawing there. So say if you go to the seahorse drawing on the map and it's not a seahorse, that is where the Veil Stone will be dug. But say if you go to the crab and it's a crab, the Veil Stone will not be there, if that makes any sense. I haven't got footage for this unfortunately, because I really hate doing Legend of the Veils. So next up with the Pictorial map, you basically get given a few images of an island and you have to decipher which island that is. But there is a lot of things on the internet telling you which photo is which island, so you should have no trouble doing that if you can Google it. I'm not going to do that because it takes absolutely ages deciphering which it is. I don't even know which one this is, but Google it and it will tell you where that black icon is. That is where you dig the Legend of the Veil. Next up is a zoom map. It's basically what it says on the tin. It is a Gold Hoarders map, but extremely zoomed in. So if you have a really good map knowledge, you should have no issue with this. I can tell that is Smuggler's Bay. But again, there is a website you can do which basically does it all for you. It will not tell you exactly, the X won't be the same, but it will be the same picture, so just Google it like you did with the previous one. If you got these two, you are really unlucky. So last but certainly not least is the Shipwreck Graveyard. This is probably the best because you can yield the most loot, not just Athena loot, but whole loot. So basically you will see some birds in the sky and one ship will be partially submerged so you can still see it. You basically need to dive down, there'll be multiple shipwrecks and you need to find the key to the Grimm's Fortune, and that'll unlock the captain's cabin of, believe it or not, the Grimm's Fortune, and that is where you'll find your Veilstone. But there is a lot of loot scattered among the ships, so it's definitely worth grabbing some loot. So for the third and final chapter of The Legend of the Veil, it is always the same. You have to defeat this fortress. Now after completing chapter 2, you will be given notes to your journal. Whether it's going to be in the northeast of the map or the very southeast of the map is dependent on where you are in the map, obviously. But when you get here, you will have to destroy 3 emplacements. Everything is surrounded by ghost ships that take 3 cannonballs each, just like a Phantom Fleet. And also you have to destroy the 3 emplacements, which also take 3 cannonballs each. Once all 3 emplacements are destroyed, the force field will go down around the fort, and then you can attack the fort. So once the emplacements have been destroyed, the fortress is revealed, and this part's pretty simple. All you need to do is just destroy each segment. They all take 3 cannonballs each. The parts that are glowing are the vulnerable parts, and you'll know you're hitting it because it'll just sound like, I don't know how to explain it, you're shooting sludge basically. That's the sound it makes. And then once you have defeated all the segments, the loot at the front will now be accessible. You will get an Athena and a Veilstone, which gets you to grade 5. Once you put the Veilstone in the Veil, you will get to grade 5. Now what you want to do is sell your loot, but do not grab the Emissary quest, as believe it or not, we are going to the Devil's Roar one last time. Luckily enough for me, I was near enough Morris Peak Outpost, so I just went there and then grabbed the Emissary quest when I sold. Now this Emissary quest is a combination of Order of Souls and Gold Hoarders. You will get a riddle, 2 X-Marks, I think it's 3 X-Marks a spot, sorry, and a bounty map. So this Emissary quest is either something I've already covered in this video or another video apart from maybe this riddle, but the riddle is self-explanatory and you can also Google it if you do get stuck. I mean, I have had to do that before, I will admit, and I am a day 1 player. But basically everything gives you Athena loot. The skulls give you ancient skulls of fortune or villainous skulls. You get buried treasure with Athena trinkets, and you can even get crates of legendary voyages. But once you have completed all 3 of these emissary quests, notice how you didn't get 4, you will get another one appear in your quest radar. So this newly acquired map will have 2 X's on it. One will be a keg of ancient black powder and the other one will be an Ashen Athena. If you do this in the normal region, not the Devil's Roar, you will just get an ordinary plain chest of legends. But this is why it's worth doing it in the Devil's Roar, because you get that little bit more loot and reputation. So now all you want to do is just basically sell all your hard-earned loot and rinse and repeat. Now this can get pretty boring relatively quick, and yes, you did see me sell the keg. I did take the keg because it's worth it basically, but I recommend doing Hourglass if you get a bit bored of this, because it can be quite tedious. And then this leads me back again to what I said about Servants of Flame, how you can sell the flags and all that. I do have a full comprehensive Hourglass guide. I will also leave a link to that in the description, but it is the best way to level up Athenas by far. That is why my highest reputation is Athenas, because I sit and play Hourglass all day every day pretty much. As you can see, I'm 86 in Gold Hoarders, so yeah. But anyway, that's all from me, your boy Top Dog Rowley or RowleyDog. Please feel free to like and subscribe. This video took me absolutely ages, so yeah, that's all I'm asking. And maybe check out the second channel, the Twitch, and the Instagram and the TikTok maybe. I don't know, I don't really mind. But thank you for watching, and peace.